Does it get to a point in a gacha game where the grind is just too much? Have you gotten to the point in Arknights Enfield where you feel punished for getting off? I'm assuming you wouldn't like that, but you're probably into that kind of thing.
こんな褒美を潜在的に望んでいるとはな。変態が。言いたいことや問いたいことが多い。この体勢でですか?
The more you look into it, it seems like the cons are starting to outweigh the pros when it comes to Enfield, and the more time that you put into the game, the less fun it becomes. But that's the thing, these devs want you to play this game as much as possible. Now, this is a problem you can attribute to most gacha games, but the worst of it comes with Arknights Enfield. And it's getting to a point where I think it may just be time for us to get jobs. Excuse my language, but we can work through this together. Actually, never mind. Don't excuse my language. Jobbity job. Anyway, I don't think it's crazy to say at this point that this is the worst gacha system that I've ever seen. And before I see the comment, I have not played every single gacha game in existence. So don't hit me with the, actually DG, there is this super obscure gacha game that literally nobody has ever heard of. And that game has a worse gacha system than Enfield. Okay, buddy. At the end of the day, Enfield has to start making some changes fast, or they are just going to be losing new players faster than Etheria Restart did when people realized that the PvP was so pay to win that people were using their credit cards like they were summoning Yu-Gi-Oh cards. What a lot of people are going to realize is that this game will really penalize you from not playing from day one. So if you didn't know about the game until now, then I'm sorry to tell you, but it only gets harder from here, especially as a free-to-play. Obviously, we all know about the gacha system at this point and how predatory it is. But if you were just starting right now, you missed about a little over a week of dailies. And in other gacha games, that wouldn't be too important, but you really do need every single pull you can get in this game because there isn't many available. Now, if you thought that the resources were scarce in other gacha games, then I wouldn't even recommend touching Enfield with the 10-foot pole because the resource drought is insane. You have to optimize your factory, and that is not an option. You have to if you want resources to upgrade your characters. This is easily the worst resource situation I've ever seen in a gacha game. And once again, if there is some super obscure gacha game that I don't know about that has a worse one, then oh well. But locking the resources in order to make your character stronger behind this feature of the game is crazy. And I would have been fine with them making it half and half. Like optimizing your factory and then using your sanity would help you build your characters, but forcing players to interact with the factory and then on top of that the resources are still scarce is crazy. Like, this isn't the Great Depression. It's a gacha game. Why can't we just have resources given away for free or something to help players out? Because it's like they don't even play this game, and I guess I wouldn't blame them because they're still going to make a ton of money off of it not playing it. So there's literally no reason for them to test it out. More than any other gacha, you have to interact with this game every single day. And if you're a certain type of person, this gets to be completely exhausting. Even though it is more fun in this game than any other gacha to use the factory, you still want to get off the game at some point. If you miss a day as a free-to-play, that shit hurts. You probably feel that physically, like a little bit of pain in your chest. And oh yeah, here comes comparing waves, by the way. In Wuthering Waves, you are completely fine missing a day. I'm sorry, I had to say it. There is a ton of way to get pulls, and they are way easier to access rather than having to go through something like a factory, because there is no equivalent of that in Wuthering Waves. Not to mention the resources come by a lot easier, and they are not locked behind a certain mechanic in the game. You just have to get the resources passively. Imagine in Wuthering Waves if you were just getting penalized for not playing that game of chess with that stupid eyeball guy with the hat in Renacita, because the resources and pulls were locked behind playing that game. Now, the factory definitely is a lot more fun than that, but it's still frustrating that the sanity in this game pretty much means nothing. I would rather go about getting pulls in Genshin Impact. I know, that's crazy. Just through exploring and playing the events that they have. They're super boring, but at least they're easy and they're straight to the point, and it won't take you all day to play those events, unless we're talking about those events you can only participate in if you're a whale. I think you know what I'm talking about. You pretty much have to give up rent for the month to full clear those events. And I don't know what it is with people trying to push this agenda that it's easy to grind out these pulls free to play in a short amount of time. Now, don't go hate on this dude, but I just have to use him as an example real quick. He's really trying to say that it's easy to get pulls free to play in this game, and he's very adamant about that. For the amount of prior knowledge, min-maxing, the amount of hours that you have to put in, it is not even close to being worth it to sit here and grind currency all day in your mom's basement. It isn't. At that point, you might as well just buy the damn character if you want them that bad. And I'm not even supporting spending money to give to this company, but if you really want the character that bad and you love this game and your wife is in this game, last right, then you might as well spend the money if you have it, because you're going to be paying even more with your time than the money you could just spend real quick. So you can go outside and get some fresh air and maybe interact with the person in real life or something, or that could be moving too fast. We could be moving too fast. We may want to slow it down a little bit there, especially if you are a new player. Don't even get me started, because you can't tell me that you are going to know exactly how to interact with the factory, for example, in order to optimize your run getting pulls free to play. That part you absolutely have to look up online. And even then, there is no guarantee that everyone is going to understand what they're doing immediately. And then if you're a new player and you want to sit through the story, then you are wasting so much time. It's unbelievable. You're wasting so much time. And then I'm seeing the same guy talk about how you don't have to skip the story in order to get these limited pulls that fast. And I just have to say, I have no clue what he's talking about, especially if you want over 100 pulls or whatever he got in a little over 24 hours. And then there is absolutely no way you are doing that without skipping the story. You might as well just watch it on YouTube or something later after you skip it. And then on top of that, if we're counting the time that these tutorials take up, there's probably a couple hours of just tutorials to go through. So if there was like a no tutorial mode, you could probably get all of this done so much faster, and I'm not even kidding. But of course, I do understand that there has to be tutorials to some extent, because if there wasn't, then a lot of new players would be completely confused. But some of these tutorials we can surely cut out, because I feel like I'm in class when I'm trying to play this game and I get a tutorial and then I walk 2 steps forward and then I get another one. Don't mistake this for bad faith criticism. I know that people love using that term whenever someone is talking about their game in a negative way, but making a video that is just beating around the bush and giving sorry ass critiques like, oh well, the character animations during this cutscene are somewhat stagnant. I guess they could have moved a little bit more, but I love this game so much. It's the only game I play. I've dedicated my entire life to this game ever since it came out. Trust me, I love this game. If it was a person, I would get on my knees. I shouldn't have to act like that for what I'm saying to be criticism in good faith. Enfield is probably the best, worst gacha game I've ever played, because there are so many good things about it, and then the bad things just loom over your head constantly when you play it. You know what? The more I think about it, the number one thing they have to fix is the daily grind, because I think that is definitely losing the most players. Even in the gacha space where dailies are pretty much normalized, as every single game has dailies, Enfield takes it to a whole new level, and these devs literally do not want you to get off the game, and they aren't hiding it. Anyways, today's word is potential. So I recently just put up a poll to try to see who y'all would rather have as your wife, and I kind of regret not putting Yvonne on there instead of Last Right, because the more I heard Last Right talk, I really don't like her vibe. She seems too out of it for me, I guess. And then we had Casterus. I do like powerful women, but Casterus is a little too strong. And then of course she would just one tap me if I got near her, so that would be the only tapping going on there. Then we have Amy Ath, who won the poll, because y'all know how these things go. Wuthering Waves pretty much wins every single poll. I could probably say, hey, don't vote for Wuthering Waves on this poll of a poll of 3 other gacha games, and Wuthering Waves would still win. But even though Amy Ath is another strong woman with a cool mech suit, she looks exactly like Cyrene, so I don't want her. Obviously that was a joke, by the way, but here is my pick, Alvida. And if you think that's crazy, you just don't know ball. Alvida has the most potential here. You just gotta get her in the gym before she glows up, and then even if she does reach like model status later on, which she does, she'll be thankful to you and stick by your side even if she mogs you badly. So just remember that in the future, and you can thank me later. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this far if you have. You look cute today. Peace.